right, welcome to the live stream. We haven't gone live in quite some time, but times are definitely here to do some live streaming. Go ahead, lights, so you guys can see me a little bit better. A little bit too bright there. Let's see. Perfect. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys fearful? You guys panicking? What are you all thinking? Now the cool thing is, since the live stream has started, cryptos have been pumping. Look at this. Cryptos have been making some decent moves here. We are seeing a bit of a recovery this evening. And in this live stream, what we are specifically going to be covering is we're going to be doing some technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the crypto market. Where are things headed? What is realistic for cryptocurrencies, for Bitcoin, for Dogecoin, for Ethereum, for Luna? We're going to be talking about all of this. We're going to be talking about what's happening tomorrow, how that's going to be affecting cryptocurrencies. And we got much more in store for you all today. How does my mic sound? How's the music? How's the mic sound? Let me know in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you all smash up the like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. We will go ahead and get started. Scott, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so the first thing we are going to take a look at is what a coin market cap. Coin market cap, we can see cryptos have been taking a beating the last 7 days. That's something we definitely want to take a look at. Let's see if we could add that. I'll have to add it later. But cryptos have been taking a beating. You see Bitcoin down 18% the last 7 days. We see Ethereum down 15%. We have BNB down 17%. XRP down 15%. Solana down 22%. Nothing crazy. We see Cardano 18%. Dogecoin holding up very strong at 15%. We have Avalanche down 25%, significant. We have Polkadot down 23%, Shiba down 20%, but up 8% today in the last 24 hours. It's pretty good. Look at this, guys. Luna down 80%. The last 24 hours, it is down 59%. So pretty crazy to see that cryptos have corrected this much and this fast. And the reason why cryptos have gone down, a lot of you are probably asking, Miles, why have cryptos gone down so much? Why have they been crashing? What the heck is happening? There is a lot of misinformation out there. But basically, the reason why cryptos have been going down and are continuing to go down, at least for the immediate short term, is all economical. It's all based on economical news. It's all based on inflation. It's all based on the economy. It's all based on economical tensions, international tensions. That's what's really keeping the crypto market down. That's what's causing it to drop. In addition to that, not only are the crypto markets dropping, but the crypto markets are actually dropping because the stock markets are crashing. The stock markets are dropping. and the US dollar continues to go up and up and up and up. And this is the US dollar index right here. It's called the DXY. And whenever the DXY, this is the 1 minute chart, whenever the DXY, ladies and gentlemen, whenever this thing goes up and pumps, you will see cryptos and a lot of stocks go down, especially cryptos. Remember last week when cryptos, we called out there was going to be a big pump and Bitcoin was breaking out. There was going to be a big breakout, which did end up happening. Ended up being a breakout and a fake out where cryptocurrencies pumped really fast like crazy. Then they crashed. When cryptos were pumping, that was when the US dollar actually crashed. And that was based off of the Fed news in the Fed meeting last week, where the Fed talked about raising interest rates and discussing the balance sheet. And that had crashed the dollar temporarily. And the next day, all of that information was digested by investors, by Wall Street, and globally. And they pushed up the dollar because of it. The reaction was to push up the dollar, which pushed up bond yields, which when bond yields go up, people are leaving stocks, and that pushes up bond yields. When people are leaving stocks to go into bond yields, they're also leaving cryptos and Bitcoin. So we have to understand that Wall Street is pretty much the main reason, the main movement of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So right now, cryptos are basically pegged. They're very strongly linked with the stock market, with the indices like the NASDAQ. We also have the S&P 500. So the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, these indices in the stock market represent a composite of certain sectors in our economy. So the NASDAQ is actually the tech sector, and it has been seeing a very significant correction. So has Bitcoin. It's been seeing the same correction that cryptos have been seeing since November. Where if we take a look at Bitcoin, we'll go to Bitcoin here. And we see Bitcoin reached 69K about the 7th of November. And that's about when the stock market topped off as well. See just about the same for a lot of indices in the stock market, but specifically the tech sector. So Bitcoin, when it comes to relation to any indice or anything in the stock market, if you really want to pay attention to where Bitcoin is headed, pay attention to the NASDAQ. How is the NASDAQ performing? Is the NASDAQ bouncing? If the NASDAQ bounces, usually Bitcoin bounces, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that if we take a look at, we can understand really well where cryptocurrencies are headed. And if you want to understand where your altcoins are headed, like Dogecoin, Shibainu, which we will be taking a look at in just a second, you have to take a look at Bitcoin. You have to understand where Bitcoin is headed. In order for you to understand where Bitcoin is headed, you have to understand where the stock market, where is the economy headed? What is the Fed doing? What is the Fed saying? What are they trying to do? All of those types of things you have to understand if you want to understand where cryptos are headed, at least in the immediate short term and in the coming months. So tomorrow there is going to be the CPI reading, which is the Consumer Price Index, which is the reading and the results of how the prices of certain things have done the previous month. And that reading is going to be tomorrow about 8 a.m. I believe exactly. It will be released publicly. You can just type it in the morning about 8 a.m. exactly in the head, the CPI reading. And there are expectations, whenever it comes to like stocks and how well they performed in a specific quarter, which is called earnings. People have expectations. There are experts who have expectations of how it's supposed to go based on their performance. So there is expectations for the CPI reading. And I think tomorrow the CPI reading is going to temporarily affect cryptocurrencies. And as we speak, cryptocurrencies are continuing to pump. This is very good. I've been trading Ethereum, so keeping a close eye on Ethereum, especially our Patreon members. So CPI reading is projected to be at a particular number, a particular percentage. So there are two things that can happen. Is one, the CPI reading will far exceed or exceed expectations, which means that inflation was higher than expected. Now, when inflation is higher than expected, that actually is a good thing for cryptocurrencies. As we have noticed the last couple of times the CPI reading has been red, we have had a bullish reaction in the crypto market because investors in Wall Street see Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a hedge against inflation. I believe it was last month we saw record inflation numbers that we have not seen since the 70s or 80s, something like that. And anyways, that pushed up cryptocurrencies for quite some time. I think we had like some bullish momentum for like 2 weeks, maybe 3. Then we saw a pretty significant correction after that had been pretty bearish. So there's a win-win situation tomorrow. If the expectations are greater, or the results are greater than expectations, we could actually see a pretty big pump, maybe a move to cryptocurrencies. And the other thing is, if it meets expectations or is lower, if inflation is actually lower, that's a good thing for the economy overall. And what's really causing all this FUD and fear is based on the Fed, because they printed so much money, they've caused so much inflation. So now they have to raise interest rates. There's things about the balance sheet. And that has what has been causing most of the FUD and crashing, honestly, in the crypto market. So if the expectations are lower, if they're met, if CPI, if the inflation numbers are lower than expected, the whole stock market could have a very bullish reaction, a very strong bullish reaction, honestly, in my opinion. And that would also positively affect cryptocurrencies. So I think tomorrow there is going to be a positive reaction in the crypto market. It may or may not happen, which of course, there's a lot of things that we try to plan, predict, and it doesn't always happen according to plan. And that's how this market moves. The way that this market is controlled and moved is by these big whales, these institutions, the market makers, and they make money when they can trick you out of your position. They make money when they can trick you out of your position. So make sure, we're going to go ahead and continue with all this great information, but make sure you share this video with somebody and smash up the like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. And you can go ahead and click that link in the chat there, where you can get access to my crypto trading course. You can sign up on the Patreon. You can even go to patreon.com/MYLESG investments. If you want to be able to join our trading group, where we do trade alerts, buy and sell alerts for cryptocurrencies, and you guys get my constant updates in the market. And in specific tiers, you can actually have my phone number where we can talk on the phone, go over your portfolio, I can kind of guide you in this crypto market. But let's get back to the point. So, getting back into the point. So the money in cryptos is moved by market manipulation, which is done by the market maker. So the market maker makes money when you sell your cryptos at a loss or enter into a bad trade and sell, because there's a lot of times where maybe you enter into a trade and it goes sideways, or and sideways in the sense where it doesn't trade sideways, but sideways in the sense where it does the opposite of what you expected it to do. That is how the market maker makes his money. So there's a lot of people who buy cryptos at the top and then they end up selling at the bottom. And the market maker, he already sold for profits at the top. He's the one that buys your cryptos at the dip. So when it comes to investing and trading, there's a couple of rules that I definitely like to lay out. And one of those is always to take profits, depending on your strategy. And 2, you always want to buy when things dip, not when they rip. Because every time something goes up really fast, it always comes down. Just like we're seeing a little bit of red here, which probably won't continue for very longer. And whenever something goes down really, really hard and really fast, it always bounces up. A lot of people have the tendency, and what these market manipulators or market makers, what they do is they want to try to drive prices down to psychological levels where people can just not bear it any longer. They want people to get into such a loss or a position where they just have to sell. And it's at that point, that's when they buy the dip up. So they basically take people to the extent of their psychological health and emotions. and they use that to manipulate people because you know, one thing that definitely makes people emotional, and of course the entire market is moved by emotion if you didn't know. One thing that makes people emotional is money. Money makes people happy, it makes people sad, at least, you know, temporarily, not in the long term. But that is kind of my talk of why the crypto market has been going down, what's happening with it. But we are going to be diving in now to some awesome technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at how cryptos are appearing, how they are looking. We're going to be taking a look at some altcoins I know I see you guys are requesting for. And we're going to see where cryptos are most likely headed. So in the meantime, I'm just checking some of my positions, seeing where I'm at. Perfect. Another trade over here. Now it's looking, and we'll get right into the charts. Seconds. All right, perfect. So we are going to get back into the charts. Now, I'm not going to the Heat game. I do have friends that are going. I live less than a mile, I live about a mile from the Heat stadium. I do know that the Heat are playing, or they are playing. I do live in Miami. All right, let's see. I'm taking a look at some of these comments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive back into the charts. So what we are currently seeing right now is Bitcoin is about $31,000, and Bitcoin yesterday hit a low of about 29,700, which specifically is just about $30,000. Now, if we go ahead and zoom out, we can see the last lows that Bitcoin has hit all the way from January of 21. So January of 21, Bitcoin hit 28,800, and from then we have only really seen 29,200, 28,800, 29,200, and yesterday we saw 29,694. So that was the low. So we have Bitcoin, which is, you know, the whole crypto market, right? Bitcoin, since we have come into these levels previously, which we did see all the way last year in May. So believe it or not, last year in May, this specific time we were crashing as well. And we are back to where we started last year in May. And saying that I do say all the time on my videos and my channel, and sometimes in my live streams, is stay away in May. It is a stock market thing, you know, based on earnings and all types of things, where the stock market generally goes down in May. And we saw a recovery. We were in a correction. We were basically trading sideways. We did go up and down. Bitcoin did bounce from 29,000 all the way to 41,000, back and forth in that range for quite some time. I will show you the length of time. That was about 69 days, actually. 69 days, Bitcoin was in somewhat of a correction. Corrections generally do last periods of time. So Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies from our current position, we have been in a correction, technically, even though we've seen pumps and some green times for about 180 days. So that's about a half a year. And bear cycles do generally last close to a year. That's what some people are saying. Let's see here. So, you know, Bitcoin is in a correction. We are in a corrective phase. And we are in this green area where we see these support levels where Bitcoin generally bounces. Now, do notice that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies do not just bounce immediately and go up. in order for them to bounce, they do go up and down and trade sideways, and things seem like they're never going to go up, and everyone's saying Bitcoin and cryptos are going to zero. They're not doing anything. What's happening? That period lasts for quite some time, and we have especially been in that period for quite some time as well. So very interesting to see that. But we are in a correction. So this is the weekly time frame. We need to take a look, since we've been down here, what has really happened in Bitcoin. Let's take a look. So we're going to zoom in. We're going to see what has happened in the crypto market. And this is the 4-hour time frame. So yesterday we bounced up, and we have been heading up. We have been moving up. We have not gone lower than this low here, which is 29,700, 29,800. That is the low. The low that we made today was $30,133. So not too far off, honestly. Go to the 1-hour time frame. Since yesterday, we did have a pretty significant bounce, a pretty significant recovery bounce, which I did tell you guys in my previous videos, which you should definitely watch, and also my Patreon. So if you guys want to get these updates, make sure you definitely join the Patreon, where you get access to my hidden updates all the time, where I'm constantly letting you guys know what to do, when to buy, when to sell. You can copy all of my exact trades in the Patreon. The link for that will be in my video description. So what we are seeing is the bounce has not been significant. It's not a crazy fast bounce. We did have a pretty big move yesterday, last night, and this morning, which I did trade and I've been messing around with. But then we came back down again today because a lot of FUD in the stock market. The dollar was pumping, bringing cryptos down. But let's even dissect what's really actually happening here. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are attempting to bounce yet again. And that might actually be quite possible. Just a couple of hours ago, things were not looking very good. And as you know, cryptos ended up bouncing up despite how the market was actually looking. And Bitcoin, as we speak, cryptocurrencies as we speak, are beginning to bounce up. Since I started this live stream, honestly, cryptos have been bouncing up. Literally, since I have started this live stream, cryptos have begun to bounce up. That is very cool. So cryptos are starting to bounce up. On the smaller time frames, it is looking fine. And if we take a look at the MACD, which helps us to kind of understand the trend, the momentum of the trend, we are getting a little bit of a cross. We are getting some momentum from the downside to the upside. So I think that Bitcoin might, cryptocurrencies as well. I do think we are potentially going to try to attempt this evening. We have Tokyo, the Tokyo session. They are opening up here soon. Asia, they will be opening up here. They may play into this, so they may jump on board and ape into some cryptos, and maybe that will, especially as they foresee the CPI reading is going to be taking place here soon. Honestly, in just about 12 hours, they may buy into it, as well as England, London, Europe. But Bitcoin has a resistance level about 31,700 that it has to come up and test. I think it is possible for Bitcoin to come up and test it tonight. It should be certainly very likely. If that doesn't happen, just to be completely real with all of you, we may trade sideways for the next day for the CPI reading. There's going to be a lot of volatility in the stock market hours tomorrow at the New York session between 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. specifically to about 4 p.m. There's probably going to be a couple of periods within that session of a lot of volatility where crypto is going to move up, where they're going to move down. And since today, cryptocurrencies, let me see where today cryptocurrencies were pretty positive the beginning of the stock market this morning, and they did reach a top. They did reach a top about 3 a.m. last night, and then we attempted to bounce up again, And this morning we were looking pretty positive. We were looking like we were actually going to continue this recovery, but that did not happen. That ended up not happening. So we did come down. We had a little pullback. We're trying to bounce up again. So we are definitely going to be seeing the next couple of hours is probably going to be volatility from here until the morning, just like there was yesterday. There is a lot of volume that is happening. When cryptos are at these types of levels, when cryptos are crashing left and right, there's a lot of volatility because people are selling, people are panicking, people are buying, people are panic buying. There's a lot of stuff that is happening around the world. This is actually good for cryptocurrencies. When cryptocurrencies crash, it brings excitement. It brings a lot of people, a lot of attention to the market, which we haven't had for quite some time. And when that comes, that brings a lot of attention, which brings in more investors, brings in more volume, brings in attention to people's portfolios. These types of events can bring back people into the community, which kind of kickstarts things. Just like in life, when everything is going well for you and everything is just perfect, things are almost boring. And when that happens, generally some type of event happens and, it triggers some thoughts, whether it's good or bad. Usually, everything's going fine and maybe something bad happens. And that gets you to take a bigger picture into yourself and to realize what's happening. What am I doing? You analyze things, you become more aware, certain bad things happen sometimes. Or maybe, I wouldn't say bad things, but maybe something that just brings excitement to a certain degree, whatever. So you see my point. So cryptocurrency crashes are actually good for the crypto market. They're healthy. They bring in more investors. They bring in more excitement. They bring in more attention. And these types of events are actually bringing people that have not yet been in before. So it helps to grow the community overall. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to be realistic. So there's a couple of things that can happen. Actually, there's two things that can really happen. One, we're either going to go up, or two, we're either going to go down. That's basically, to keep it very simple, that's what can happen. Now, there is a possibility that Bitcoin does attempt to bounce up, as we did bounce up last night. Maybe we don't even go up past where we were last night. Maybe we go down again. Maybe there are negative results with the CPI tomorrow that negatively affect the stock market and cryptos. That could push cryptos down again, causing things to become more volatile. That means Bitcoin could see another move to the downside, because purely based on the charts, even though Bitcoin, since it has been in this range between 28,000 and 69,000, Bitcoin has held this support level very strongly. And there may be a possibility that Bitcoin actually breaks the support level and sees a broader correction. Some people are calling for 22,000, 17,000, 10,000. Some people are calling for 26,000. I certainly think it's possible, right? I don't know if it's plausible, but I'm completely open to whatever happens. I don't really have a prediction personally of where I think the market is headed. I mean, just based off my pure opinion, I do feel that there's probably another move to the downside to be had, that there is probably most likely going to be another move to the downside. And that may or may not happen. It could happen literally in the next 5 minutes. Bitcoin and cryptos could crash. Some type of news could crash cryptos and bring them down to 27, 26K. That's certainly possible. But since we have been in this range, Bitcoin has not broken down below about 29 to 28,000. So since we see that support level is so strong, it has been holding up every single time. Statistically, there is a stronger possibility that Bitcoin won't break down below that range or support level. But of course, we must be completely aware that cryptos could go down from this point. And we're going to get more into the video, but make sure you all subscribe with notifications on. If you have not done so already, check out the links in my video description. Check out that top pinned comment where you can get access to my website. You can sign up for a one-on-one consultation. I teach technical analysis. You have my course. You get my trade alerts on Patreon. If you guys want to check all of that out, go ahead and do so, and smash up the like button like you guys have never smashed it before if you do appreciate the live stream. And I appreciate all of you that are here. Thank you for watching. We are going to get more into this video. So we're also going to take a look at some altcoins. So yeah, I mean, just in conclusion of that, can cryptos go lower? Yes. Will they? I don't know. But based on how bearish the charts are, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a very strong downtrend. It has not stopped. It is not stopping. It is not stopping as of yet. This bounce here is not a very strong bounce, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a strong bounce, because a lot of times when cryptos do bottom out, they bounce up, they try to trade up, and then a couple days later, boom, they shoot up and then come down, and they trade sideways for quite some time, and then they continue their uptrend. So can cryptos go down further? Yes. Can Bitcoin break below 28K? Yes. Based on the charts, there are some bearish reasons why that could happen, and there are some, statistics that potentially hold up Bitcoin above 28,000 with a stronger possibility. So we must be completely aware of that, and we do know that when cryptos, especially Bitcoin and everything else, is crashing, the altcoins see a really big hit. The altcoins do see a really big hit. So let's take a look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin is at 10 cents right now. Dogecoin yesterday hit 9 cents. Did anybody buy the Dogecoin dip? Because if you did, you made a killing. From the bottom to the top, Dogecoin went up 20% in hours, period of a few hours. Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano 60 cents, ladies and gentlemen. 60 cents. 60 cents. Crazy. Cardano has not been at 60 cents since February of 21. Seems like Cardano has been, a lot higher for like years, right? Very interesting. We have BNB sitting at $317. BNB yesterday saw 288. Pretty significant correction. It has been holding up. Luna, this thing is a rocket ship, right? A rocket ship to the downside. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. This is insane. So Luna went from the 6th of April, $120 for a current position of about $16. Just hit $12 actually. 85% correction. Luna currently, its current position is sitting at $16. Me personally, it's probably strong of a possibility that Luna would bounce up. I mean, Luna is $13. People are going to be laughing at people that did not buy this dip. I mean, I'm not going to touch it, honestly. But especially with all the FUD, crazy stuff that's happening with them. But this is a trader's paradise. Like if you shorted Luna yesterday, you would be rich. Stupid rich. If you would have put like $10,000 and put a 10x leverage, you would have killed it. It was super bearish. Crazy to see. It's 45% down right now from the last session. That's pretty significant. We have Apecoin bouncing up. We have Solana doing pretty well. Take a look at the 30 minutes. So most cryptos have bounced up, come down, but we are seeing a higher low. So we have this low here. We are seeing a higher low on pretty much every cryptocurrency. That is a good sign. It is a better sign than a double bottom, than coming back down to the same support level. That can get pretty sketchy. That would be a very bearish sign, although a double bottom is a bullish signal. We have XRP, guys, 51 cents. It hit 46 cents. Hit 46 cents yesterday. Crazy. And cryptos could potentially go lower. So, maybe XRP sees 30 cents or 20 cents. Who knows? Avalanche. Let's take a look at this thing. Avalanche is at $40 yesterday. 44 right now to be specific. Crypto.com. I know a lot of you people hold Crypto.com. It went to 20 cents yesterday. 20 cents. Can you believe it? There's people that are still holding cryptocurrencies. I remember a lot of people bought Crypto.com at the top. They're like, what should I do? Should I sell? And they're still holding. So that portfolio is definitely not looking too good. 80%, guys. 80% correction. That's what these altcoins do. They have the biggest gains, but they also have the biggest corrections. You have to take profits in this market, especially while we are in a bear market, while things are going down. You don't want to buy altcoins or dollar cost average unless you're long-term minded. You want to wait for things like this to crash, because crashes always happen, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of times where we are in the crypto market where things just are trading sideways. They don't look very exciting. Nothing's crazy. Nothing is crazily happening. And then boom, we see these crashes over and over and over. We have seen cryptos crash like 4 or 5 days in a row, going down 10%, 12%, 7%. I'm like, oh my goodness. Those types of crashes, guys, happen all the time. Those stop losses are very important. If you wanted to avoid things like that, you could, of course, be in the Patreon following all of my exact trades. We do get in and out of the market, and most of the time we try to sell before the market does crash. And when it does appear bearish, so we're going to have to see how the market does tonight. Since we have been making a higher low, that is a good sign. But from last night, we have been in somewhat of a downtrend from the small little range. We're going to have to start breaking some resistance levels if we do want to see a recovery the next couple of days. But do know that tomorrow, CPI reading is going to determine where cryptos are headed in the next couple of days. And if cryptos do end up bouncing up along with the stock market, I conjecture that cryptocurrencies most likely will probably dip over the weekend, that there will be a short-lived bounce. That's kind of honestly my opinion. And then there might be some more FUD and craziness next week, which cryptos might crash again and go down further. We are in bearish times. But we are, of course, to keep it real, getting close to the bottom. Cryptos can't crash forever. Bitcoin is not very likely to go down 29,000, which means that cryptos, altcoins, they can't go down much further either. I mean, they can, but realistically, we aren't that far from the bottom. Bitcoin just nearly hit the low yesterday. That has been holding up for quite some time, for over a year. So corrections and these drops and crashes do last for a significant amount of time. It's not like they crash and they go up the next day and everything's all good. Things are bearish, so we may trade sideways. We may continue to go up from here, but slowly. There will be some volatility, some pumps, some dumps in the meantime, while we slowly try to go up. And I can show you what I mean by that. So remember when cryptocurrencies, we'll just take a look at, take a look at Bitcoin. So remember when Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they bottomed out in January, and we were super fearful. We were like, oh my gosh, guys, Bitcoin went from 69K all the way down. It was a period of time. It took 2 months, and it finally bottomed out at $33,000. I ended up buying Bitcoin at that level. Us in the Patreon, we bought Bitcoin at that level. But Bitcoin ended up bouncing up and went down, bounced up, went down. And look, guys, there's like these really big swings. So Bitcoin bottomed out at 32,800, went up 40%. 16 days later, it took 16 days for that to happen. It's only been 1 day, guys. Went up 40%. Just imagine if you would have made that trade. That'd have been incredible. And then it went down 25%, and that took 13 days. So notice that the bearish times, they last a period of days. They last a cluster of days. And then it went down 24%, so it lasted a period of time. And then it went up. That took only 6 days, another 30%, guys. 40%, 25%, 30%. More so going up, and then it crashed again. Let's see what that crash was. About 17%. And then from that 17%, we saw a very big move, 28% move. So if you're a trader, if you know how to take profits and trade, technical analysis, which you can learn by using that link above. You can even sign up for a one-on-one session, a Zoom session, where I can teach you technical analysis. But if you understand when to buy and to sell, you guys can become very rich. You guys can make a lot of money, turn a little bit of money into a lot of money in a very quick period of time. not quick in the sense where like one day get rich, but it takes time, it takes patience. And if you want to make money as a trader, you're gonna have to lose money, because every trader loses, every trader makes mistakes all the time, almost every single day. I am a day trader. I trade every single day. I watch the charts every single day. I make mistakes all the time, all the time. But there are indicators out here, guys. If you understand the patterns, you understand when things pump up really fast, you understand that they are going to come down. You can start to see that these moving averages, which are basically an equation of where the price should be, and when cryptos go under these moving averages, when you have a couple of different ones, you can see that the momentum has actually shifted from bullish while the price action, the candlesticks are above the moving averages, things are very bullish. But whenever they go down, you see these corrections. You see these corrections take place, and you would know to stay out until they start getting back in, as we see over here. And then you would have stayed into the top, and it comes down again, you would know to buy and to sell. So there's a lot of indicators. There's even better indicators out there than that. Those are more complicated, but I'll show you. The MACD. Let me take this MACD off. But the MACD lets you know the strength, the momentum of the market. It lets you basically know when to buy and to sell. So like, look, let's just say you would have entered into here. You go up, pull up your MACD, you see how strong the market is. Should you be getting out? So the market went up, and you're probably questioning, okay, should I be taking profits? And what we can see is this cross right here. The MACD lets us know when these lines cross that the momentum has changed from bullish to bearish, that the momentum has stopped, the going up momentum has stopped. And if you would have followed that simple indicator, which is free, you'd have known when to sell. And then after it bottoms out in that particular range, you would have known when to get back in, because the same thing happens. You see the indicator cross, boom, it goes up, and you make significant profits. And by that time, you're already knowing, okay, it's trading sideways, should I be getting out? And then the MACD confirms it right before the drop. Boom, right here. Crosses and tells you when to get out. Guys, the charts, everything is moved off the technical analysis. If you have just a little bit of knowledge, you will be able to take control of your financial situation investing in cryptos. Now, there's a lot of things to trade out there. You can trade stocks, you can trade Forex. There's so many different types of traders. Me personally, I love cryptos. I love for what they stand for. And I personally, I just watch cryptos all day long. I don't mess with 50 different cryptos. I honestly only trade one crypto for the most part. I honestly only hold literally Ethereum in my portfolio. That's all I trade for the most part. And then I do buy alerts, small alerts, futures with like Dogecoin or Shibainu, and a couple of other altcoins that I do pay attention to. And when it comes to being a trader, you want to watch and pay attention to like one thing, Bitcoin, Ethereum, learn that really, 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 really well. And you can follow its habits. Bitcoin and Ethereum cryptos, some of the main ones, they have particular habits that you can kind of catch if you watch them and understand them more than just looking at the chart. So this is not financial advice, just my own opinion, but we are going to be doing a lot of live streams. From now on, I'm thinking about doing live streams in the morning in addition to making videos. But I would like to potentially do a live stream in the morning when cryptos are very volatile. So you guys can hop on and I can show you exactly what's happening in the market, give you my opinion, and I can show you most likely where cryptos are headed, at least in the short term. So I do short-term trading, which means that when times are volatile like this, I do try to take advantage of buying low and selling high, but especially while we are in a bearish market. So things are ultimately heading down, right? But when we are in a bullish market, when we have massive confirmation that we are for the next couple of months heading up, that's when I will generally hold longer, which is swing trading. And then when I see these indicators that let me know when to sell, that's when I sell and get out, and I wait for the indicators to give me another indication of when to get back in. So while the market is bearish going down, while it is in a downtrend, I do not hold long-term. I trade and take advantage of these opportunities that present themselves. So as we take a look at this area right here, this is Ethereum, for example. Ethereum is heading down, right? We see Ethereum heading down, ultimately is heading down. That is called a downtrend. But notice that while Ethereum is actually heading down, there are times where it goes up. Look at this, it goes up. goes up, it goes up. Those are called retracements in a downtrend. So you have a trend, and then in the midst of the trend, it just doesn't go straight down. It has retraces. These are called retracements. The same thing happens in an uptrend. While things are going up, things can't just go up forever. There are pullbacks. Those are retracements as well. A retracement is the continuation of a current trend, but a deviation of that current trend for a period of time. So we see Ethereum is going up, there's a pullback or retracement. Goes up, pullback or retracement, continues to go up, and there's little pullbacks on the way. Those are retracements. So what traders do is they try to take advantage or scalp these opportunities that present themselves consistently, whatever trend it is. So that's why cryptos are also going down very fast and rapidly, because there's a lot of people shorting the market. There's people leveraging, putting a lot of money into going short or long in Bitcoin in certain areas. And when people get liquidated, that also does push the prices of cryptos down. And as well, the whole Luna fiasco is said to have crashed cryptocurrencies yesterday, because Luna has a stable coin. That's why it's actually going down substantially, UST. And there was an issue with the stable coin, which is an algorithmic stable coin where it's supposed to stay at $1. But yesterday, I heard it went to about 60 cents. So what I had to do is what I heard, I had to burn Terra, and then Terra, they had bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin. They had to liquidate their Bitcoin to buy Terra back. I don't know, something crazy like that. I don't know the full story, but that's the basis of what I have heard. That's actually why Luna had gone down. And all of those Bitcoin, there's billions and billions and billions of Bitcoin that had to be sold to fix that whole fiasco. So that's also why we saw a dip in the current market. In addition to that, so while people are fearful and panic selling, there are people that are making money. I mean, let me show you all this. So Ethereum was going down. I mean, cryptos were going down this afternoon. It was not looking pretty. And people were panic selling, and people were asking me, Miles, should I sell? What should I do? There's people that message me, hey Miles, I just sold my Dogecoin here, boom. If you'd have sold your cryptos at that level, you would have just lost out in like 4%, 5%. So that's why you don't want to sell when things are crashing or going down, unless you can get it early, or if you believe the market is really going to be going down much further, and if there's evidence of that through technical analysis, that is when it might be a good time to take a loss. But you always want to sell when things are high and buy when things are low. Set that as a rule for yourself. You'll make a lot more money, I promise. If you buy after things crash, a significant crash, I mean, this is the 1 minute time frame. This is not necessarily crashes you want to buy unless you are scalping and making quick trades. Let's just say this is a bigger time frame. Cryptos crash, those are the times to buy, and they do eventually go up. After every major crash in cryptocurrencies, for the most part, especially if they are a good crypto like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, well traded and invested cryptos, after any significant crash, there always is a bounce. Always big bounces. Guys, let's take a look at this. Bitcoin crashed significantly. Look at this crazy crash. If we look at all the charts, if we look at every Bitcoin chart, after every major crash, every single one, there has always been a bounce. Look at this. Very big crash here. Boom, bounce. Every single crasher is a bounce. We are overdue for a bounce. We are going to get a bounce 100% unless cryptos go to zero. But that's not very likely. We are definitely overdue for a bounce. We could hang out here for a little bit, maybe get a little bit of bounce here tomorrow, the day after. We are eventually going to get a bounce. And even if we are going to go down, we still are going to get a bounce at some point. So we could go down a little bit further, then get a really big bounce, and then maybe continue the downtrend, or maybe trade sideways and then eventually head up. But we can only be in a bearish market for so long. Just like things can't go up forever, Dogecoin can't pump up forever, and cryptos can't be in a bull run forever, just like they can't be in a bull run forever. The opposite is true when it comes to investing and trading. Things when they go up really fast, they always come down, and things when they go down always must come up, especially when it's a good crypto, except for Luna. Except for Luna today, except for Luna in the short term. People bought the Luna dip yesterday. I almost would have bought that. I mean, who wouldn't buy a crypto that crashes 60% or whatever it was at that time? Luna went down and down and down and down and did attempt to bounce up a little bit. It actually bounced up significantly, I'm not gonna lie to you. It bounced up 45% and then continued to crash. So some people made a lot of money trading Luna on that dip yesterday, but they are significantly down. If they did, they're down about 60% already in just the last day or so. But Luna probably will bounce. They are bouncing. They are hovering to a degree right now. The question is, do you all think that Luna will hold up? You guys think Luna is going to go up? Do you think it's going to go down? Is it going to crash? But as of this live stream, Luna has gone up about 30%. Can you believe that? 28%, 30%. If you would have put, let's see, if you would have put $1,000 about an hour ago during the live stream, not that I told anyone to do this, you would have made about $300. Or if you would have put 100,000, you'd have made 30,000. Literally in just since this live stream has started. Luna is beginning to recover. I'm not saying to do this because Luna is bearish, very bearish. It just crashed 50%. That crash could happen again. Another 50% crash could happen tomorrow with more FUD. Who knows? So, just interesting to see how fast things can bounce up. And cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptos, they have been known to recover. We have experienced this. Everyone in here has experienced this if you've been in crypto for a little bit. Cryptocurrencies, they do bounce up quick sometimes. They can bounce up faster than we can expect. It happens all the time. They recover faster than we expect and bounce up faster than we expect. It happens all the time. It happens to me all the time. Like earlier today, Ethereum, let's take a look at Ethereum, and this was pertinent to all cryptocurrencies. Ethereum had, where are we? Okay, so Ethereum crashed all the way down here today. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm watching the charts. Like, this is not looking good. And then boom, out of nowhere, literally in minutes, Ethereum just went straight up. This happened to all cryptos as well. Cryptos bounced straight up really fast. And then they dropped and went up again really fast too. It happens all the time, and even faster and bigger than that. There are moves where we can see Bitcoin go from 31,000 to 38,000 in hours. It happens all the time. It happens with all different types of cryptocurrencies. So that's why it's good to not panic sell at times, especially if you are holding something good. These are good long-term investments. Yes, they can make people rich in a short period of time, which we probably have experienced, or maybe we've had the opportunity, but we didn't take profits. That happens all the time. But the people that have made a lot of money and that are millionaires in cryptos are the ones that have been here the previous bull cycles. The people that were here last bull cycle, when Bitcoin crashed to 3,000 and went to 17,000, somewhere in that range. Actually, I think it was in the hundreds of dollars. I wasn't around for that cycle, but the people that were around, they were scooping up Bitcoin at $1,000 or $2,000, and Bitcoin went to $70,000. So right now, we're probably all freaking out at Ethereum's 2,000, Bitcoin's 30,000, Cardano's 60 cents. Oh my gosh. And in the next couple of years, the next halving cycle, which probably will be another start to a major bull run for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin might be 250,000 or something crazy like that. And we're like, oh my gosh, I was thinking so hard about my Ethereum being $2,000 and now it's 40,000. I can't believe I was freaking out. Those people then are going to freak out when they buy Ethereum, it goes from 40,000 to 100,000 and crashes back down. The same psychological process happens over again. And right when Bitcoin first started, Bitcoin was worth dollars. It was basically worth pennies. And people were probably freaking out when their Bitcoin went from 500 to 200, and look at where they are at now. Look at where cryptos are at now. So that's the type of potential that we have investing in cryptocurrencies. Not all cryptos, not all altcoins will have that potential, only the good ones with real utility. I do know that Bitcoin has real utility. I do know Ethereum has real utility. And just speaking from a pure investment standpoint, those are the ones that I know for sure will probably be around. Now, there's going to be coins like maybe Luna, maybe ApeCoin and Solana, XRP. Those ones will probably be around in the next several years, but they may or may not be. And that's just me because I don't know them very well. But I do know Bitcoin will be here. I do know Ethereum will be here because they have to be here. There's hundreds of billions of dollars locked upon Ethereum, Bitcoin as well. Countries have Bitcoin as their legal currency. Who knows if Dogecoin will be here or not in the next 5 years? Probably. Shiba Inu, likewise, the same. It happens with all different types of altcoins. The people that were in the previous bull cycles and bull markets, they said the same thing about cryptocurrencies back then. And some of the cryptocurrencies that were really big and popular then aren't even anywhere around now. So that same type of situation is here as it was then. All right, so if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask, and I'll hop off the live stream just a little bit. What would you recommend hold? Solana, AVAX, Polkadot, Cardano, Polygon. I do like those cryptocurrencies. Those are good altcoins in my opinion. They do have a lot of backing. They do have some solid utility. So whether I can't personally recommend who to hold or buy them, especially not on live, but in my Patreon I do. If you join the Patreon, you can ask me financial questions like that, especially in tier 3. If you guys want to get access to the Patreon, you can join the Patreon right there, where you get access to those buy and sell alerts and so forth. Ori asks, do I think that this is the next 3 to 4 year bear market? Definitely not. I don't foresee cryptos being in a 3 to 4 year bear market. Honestly, that's not even possible. Thoughts on ApeCoin? I don't know too much about ApeCoin, but it does perform really well. You know, it's very volatile, goes up and down really fast. Dogecoin predictions for the end of the year. That's a great question, honestly. It really depends on if Bitcoin and cryptos can recover, especially with Elon Musk being in Twitter, being the owner of Twitter, or he's not officially yet the owner. If he does buy Twitter, I do think that's going to have some positive price impact to do Dogecoin. And if cryptocurrencies can recover, if Bitcoin can recover to 50,000, 60,000, maybe somewhere in that range, Dogecoin probably could get up to the 20 cent range, maybe 30 cent, maybe above. It really depends on how bullish the market can become. I do believe that the market will see another, at some point, a very big run up, a bullish run this year. There's going to be a lot of volatility this year, I'm sure, but I'm sure there's got to be some very big, awesome opportunities that pump cryptos. Unrivaled Dre, good evening. Been following you for a while. Any thoughts on Kronos blockchain, including Tectonic, Finance, Finance? I'm not familiar with any of those. Not even familiar with the Kronos blockchain, to be honest. But I do like, Kronos as far as you're referring to crypto.com. It's a pretty decent crypto. I mean, it's an exchange, and the exchange is growing, the business is growing, and the crypto probably will continue to grow as well. What do you suggest for a good percentage to hold on to when taking profits? Personally, what I do is, like, when I take profits, I buy in. I usually just trade one position, so I get in and out 100% at a time. Algorand, is that good in your opinion? I do like Algorand. I think it's a good altcoin. Thoughts on Cardano? I also like Cardano as well. Certainly. Algorand's actually done really well despite the market volatility. It was the other day that Algorand was like crazy. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, the 30th of April, Algorand pumped up 50% just about. That was really good. We already talked about Dogecoin, so you might have to just scroll back in the video. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Robert, it's going well. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Do I have an opinion on VeChain? I do. I've always liked VeChain. I think it's a lot of these altcoins, guys, are long-term investments. But I do like them. I certainly like them. And let me go ahead and pull up the book map. Let's see. What hardware wallet do you recommend? I don't use hardware wallets. So this is the book map where we're basically able to take a look at all the buy and sell orders for the entire crypto market. Let's see if I can move it around. I'm not sure. So this is the book map for Bitcoin, and the red, the darker levels, these are where the liquidity is at. Okay, so that's where all the liquidity is at. And if I zoom out, let's see if we can see that the liquidity is pretty well mixed in the book. Which yesterday, the days, oh wow, this is actually really good news, guys. So the days leading up to Bitcoin crashing to yesterday, we saw a whole bunch of liquidity. So these darker areas, the redder areas, we saw a whole bunch of liquidity just lined up under 30,000, and that is no longer there. No longer see that. That is very interesting. We do have 357 Bitcoins to be bought at 28,000, and even lower. We have Bitcoins to be purchased at 25,000. So 600 Bitcoins, guys. Crazy. So a lot of the liquidity is sitting lower. Very interesting to see. So go ahead and raise this up. If you guys want to get access to the book map, the link is in my video description where you can get like this hidden whale info. It's really cheap. Highly recommend using my link below. But getting into the book, let's just take a little bit more of a dive. Bitcoin's about trading sideways right now. There is a lot of sell orders at 31,200. We're just gonna have to see where the price is driven up. Cryptos are going up to a degree, at least in the short term right here. But there is a lot of liquidity pretty well mixed around in the book, especially if Bitcoin dips a little bit lower. There's a lot more buying pressure here in these lower regions here, where we can see at 30,900, 70 Bitcoins ready to be purchased up, 30,800, just about 100 Bitcoins. So very interesting to see. Very interesting, especially it's very interesting to see that there's a lot more liquidity up in the higher ranges, which there's a major resistance level. This is how we can actually see the resistance levels for cryptos bouncing, going up. We see Bitcoin, these liquidity levels at these particular ranges, And a lot of times when Bitcoin goes up to these levels, based on how these levels hold up, that could end up being the resistance. Sometimes it can even blow past it. So interesting to see that, ladies and gentlemen. Get back into the charts. Take a look at some indicators. Pull up my moving averages. So on the 5-minute time frame, we are seeing a bit of more of like a consolidation where momentum has slowed down a bit. This could potentially be the top for maybe the next hour or so. We'll have to see. Candlesticks are above a couple of the moving averages. So that is decent, but on the smaller time frames, like the 1 minute, the 3 minute, we are under all of the moving averages, and the moving averages have crossed. So we could see a little bit of a pullback from here. We're going to come up and test the support level for Ethereum. It's going to be 23.28. Probably will end up having a pretty big interaction with this level here. Hopefully we do bounce, but we might end up going down tonight and kind of trading sideways to a degree until the CPI reading, which we could continue to recover at that point. So honestly, the markets might be a bit sideways until Asia really opens up in Europe, and we'll have to see how the market interacts with the CPI reading tomorrow morning. As of right now, things are flipping into the red. The dollar is going up in anticipation of the CPI reading tomorrow, and actually the dollar has actually broken out. Actually not just yet. US dollar has attempted tonight to break. Okay, we did not break out all the way. The US dollar is going up, and that's why, and when we see cryptos go down, it's a very interesting trend right here. It's very interesting to see it coil up so condensedly. Generally, there's a very big move to be taking place after this. It could probably going to go up, but I just would not expect the US dollar to go up tomorrow with high inflation readings. I think that will push the dollar down, which means that cryptos will be pushed up as a result. So that's going to be it, guys, for today's video. Thank you so much for staying to the end. Share this video with a friend or family member. I'd really appreciate it. Check out the Patreon. You can also check out that top pinned comment, which is my website. We can get access to have a one-on-one session with me to learn technical analysis. You can get access to my course, which is 66% off right now. Highly recommend it. If you want to make money in this market, definitely check out some of those cool things, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for staying to the end. That is going to be it for today's stream. And we're going to be doing a lot more streams like this a lot more often. I'd love to hang out with you guys, put some cool music on, and watch the markets at the same time. So you all have a great night. Thank you for coming by.